And here we go for the tube. Say what up, tube.
What up, tube?
Hola.
All right, and last but certainly not least, for the podcast, here we go in 3, 2, and 1.
Welcome to another episode of
Business
Bros. S-H-I-T, ladies and gentlemen. So happy it's Thursday.
Part 2.
Hernan Cias here, host of the Business Bros podcast, along with my co-host,
The insurance bro, James Cias. And for the second time today, we have an awesome, fun-filled show ready to go for you. Now check this out. As business owners, we know that everything we do needs to start with what? Value. As experts in finance and real estate investors, today's guests are such experts at bringing value that they now have a podcast built around it. Starting as young as 19 years old and funding over $750 million in commercial and residential property, today's guests have the knowledge and expertise to help their listeners and ours realize their value. Joining us today from the Value Add with K&K Podcast, the most realest real estate podcast, please welcome Kenny Simpson and Krystle Moore. Thank you both for joining us today.
That was damn, that's
I like that intro. Jeff, huh? What are you talking about?
We just closed down our podcast officially after that. Wow, that's an intro.
Dude.
You know, I literally took it all from your YouTube channel, so y'all half wrote it for me.
Cool.
He just said it in his voice.
In the movie.
He
like
infused some serious personality. I loved it. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gents, before we talk to Value K&K, I want to remind you, 365 pairs of shoes. We need 3 more pairs to hit our goal, but it's okay if we go over. So if you got new shoes, or you want to donate cash, hit James up, 619-884-0045, or James at csfirst.com. The guy's also in insurance, so if you need help with your commercial, life, health, whatever it is you need, or maybe you have a mortgage office or a tax office, you want to add insurance into your agency, we want to be able to cut you a check. We'll do the heavy lifting for you, but you got to call us to find out how. 619-884-0045 or James at csfirst.com. Dronecode.net/business bros is our show sponsor for today. It's sunny San Diego. The sun is not only keeping you warm, it should also be paying you. You want to shop for solar, but you don't know how? Dronecode.net/business bros is where you go. That's where you get started. Don't wait for somebody to knock on your door. Just start there. They're going to send a drone over to your home, measure your rooftop, send it to roofing companies, solar companies. You sit back, look at your inbox, pick the best solar quote that works for you. That's how you get it done. Dronecode.net/business bros. You guys ready?
Damn.
I like it.
It's like I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Who would know? Who would guess?
I know.
We've had such a great conversation before the show even started. It's very rare that I get to talk to people who have their own podcast.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to hear how you guys got into the game. I heard a little bit. I want you to kind of share with the audience how you got into the game, because it's very similar to my own story.
Podcast game or real estate game?
Podcast game.
Krystle?
Well, I started out listening to Gary Vee. I mean, what happened is I was looking at Instagram or whatever, and I'd see these influencers listening to podcasts, and I'd been hearing about it for a while. But so I think the first person I went to was I think one of the people most of us go to, Gary Vee. He's all over the place, right? So I was listening to him.
Never heard of him.
So I was listening to Gary. Kenny didn't listen to anything. We had literally
no social media, didn't do anything. And we were talking about marketing, and I'm like, Kenny, you got to listen to this guy. He's kind of crazy, but he's kind of like you in a lot of ways. So
crazy.
So anyways, Kenny literally listened to one episode, and he was kind of sold already. Then he was he was hooked. So he was like, okay, this is what we need to do. So we started planning probably middle of last year, just saying we got to get it together. We got to do a podcast. We got to do videos. We got to get on this thing. So we started recording videos, and our goal was to get a cachet of videos before we launched YouTube, and to get 10 episodes recorded on our podcast before we launched, so that way we were never getting behind with episodes. So we just kind of got to it and started kind of coming up with topics, and found a videographer. And just, I think once you start putting the word out there and you let people know this is what I want to do, then people start coming to you and saying, okay, I can help you with this, I can help you with that, and you can kind of start putting it all together.
Kenny, you were a natural behind the mic and the camera, right?
Check, baby. 1, 2. No, I mean, it's funny because as we were talking before we started it, I jumped into social media. I was like, I didn't really understand it. I understood it. And then she showed me Gary Vee, and she goes, hey, he's having this 4D thing. So literally I was like, sign up, let's go. Jumped on a plane, went to New York, was next, in Gary Vee's office, meeting D-Rock, all the whole crew, and it was surreal. And then I was sitting down, so I was saying, telling Gary what I want to do. He's like, you just got to just get started, just do it, just go. And so I think a lot of people hesitate. They're like, I want to do this, I want to do that. So I literally came back and told Krystle, we're just going to go. And people are like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. We're just going to, we know people, get them on the show, just start talking about it. And I think just like you guys, it starts to go from there, and then you start seeing what works and doesn't work. And then after you start doing 25, 30, 40, 50, it starts to be comfortable. And then I think you really start understanding like how the podcast game works. And just like us sitting here doing this feels very natural wherever you are, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Same thing here. Like Gary Vee was one of the people that I was like, holy crap, he thinks like I think. He says what I'm thinking. I like this guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a podcast. And I dragged him into it. I was like, hey, dude, we're doing this podcast. He's like, what? We're doing what? And we're doing it every day. Huh? But he owed me, so.
This is true.
Yeah. So
Tell you that story later.
yeah. So
Don't ask that question.
don't ask that question. Yeah. When don't ask that question.
He's like, I thought I was just doing movie phone, but no.
No.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
But
You'd be getting movie phone.
getting into this whole podcast game has transformed the way we do business, right? I mean, it's
For sure.
I honestly, the very, very beginning for us, it was like business therapy. Like I got to sit down with him and we were talking about exactly what we're doing, where we're going, what we're planning on doing, and things just kind of progressed. Like we had an idea, and then all of a sudden, when the show's not on, we're like, hey, remember when we talked about this? Like maybe we should try this, and started implementing stuff. And he's always been the kind of person who tells me, you know what, just shoot. We'll worry about the ready aim stuff later.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna figure it out, but let's just start. Let's do it, and then we'll adjust and go from there. How's it influenced your business?
It's been huge for us because I think one of the issues that we had prior to this was there was some kind of confusion about what we did, because I've been doing financing for 16 years now, but then I kind of fell into owning a property management company, and that grew to be like 1,000 units. And from that, then, clients would be like, hey, can you sell my building? I want you to represent me. I want you to rehab my building. So we got into this thing where I'm like doing loans and then property management and brokerage and all this stuff. So it got a little bit convoluted. Like, well, what do you guys do exactly? Some people knew me for the management person. Some people knew me for the loan person. And so that kind of got lost in translation. So the big thing that social media really helped us with was like, okay, we need to pick a lane, like first off, this is what I do, this is who I am, and then we need to let people know that that's what we do. And we need to just educate people and give them information and provide them value, and from that, like, the business is kind of secondary. So that's exactly what's happened, is that people, for one, in our business want to be in social media, but they're too nervous or they're too busy stuck planning what they're going to do, and it's not perfect enough for them to get out there. So we started connecting with people just because they wanted to do social media, and they're like, what are you guys doing? How are you doing it? How can I do it? So we offer people, come in our office, like, shoot some videos. I mean, come in. And we have very few people who've taken us up on it, maybe two, because they go like, okay, yeah, I'm going to come. And then you never hear from them again. But they are intrigued. They want to hear about it. And they're also motivated by how much you put yourself out there. And I think just being top of mind to people that you already know, and then getting the attention of people they know, just saying, hey, you got to hear these people, or sending their friend this video, like, listen to this is really good. And it's kind of snowballed from there.
It's weird how the whole branding thing works. Like I've heard Gary Vee say branding all the time. I've heard the whole marketing thing and branding thing. I didn't understand it until I started to do it. You know what I mean? Like now when I talk to people know what I'm up to. And they always, they're like, hey, what's up, business bros? Like I get that when I go around in any place that I go, and it's really awesome. But what is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, even then, to this day, like, there's a lot of people are like, well, what is the Business Bros? I mean, they don't know. They just know it's a show. It's a podcast. It's a brand. But they're seeing it every single day. They're, people are following went from, we started in July. From July to December, nobody listened, and then people started to listen. And then I saw the post date on our Facebook page. It says this group was started March 31st, 2019. Wow. From March 31st, 2019 to now, we're at 5,400 followers. Wow, and that's amazing, because we went from nothing to now 5,400 people every single day see our logo, see our show, and they may not listen to every single thing, but they know it exists. Like, you've become an influencer over time because of the consistency of what you're putting out, and you get better and better if you bring higher value. And you went straight with let's figure out what our lane is. I went with the other one where I don't know what my lane is. My lane is we're doing a podcast because Gary said to do it. Right? That was my lane.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Figure it out as you go.
No, I totally agree. And you know, the other guy that I listen to a lot and follow that blew his brand up is Grant Cardone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like him or not like him, but like he says is, you know, his thing is you don't have to work with me or like me. I just want you to know me.
Right.
But when you know me, you know what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sales course and I buy real estate and I'm a syndicator. So I think you're kind of taking Gary Vee of get started and then this Grant thing of, that's why I said is like, we already have a good network in real estate. So we're like, let's let them know exactly what we do so there's no confusion. So like, hey, Krystle and Kenny, so what is it that you guys do? Because you do all this stuff and now it's more clear. But also is now we can cast a wider net and you're getting in front of all these other people that are, you know, showing your stuff. And the other thing, what we were talking about earlier is when Gary said, just talk about what you know. So on top of the podcast, I sit in front of a green screen and a whiteboard and I just pick up real estate topics that I've learned. We have vacation rentals and management and finance and all this stuff. So I sit in front of there with all the stuff that I've learned or lost money on or trial and error. And it's dumb. It's just in front of a board, but I rant and rave and Monty posted up there like every single day, but I'm talking about what I know.
Yes.
And I never talk about what I don't know. So I'm just constantly in front of people sharing. And now all of a sudden, like you said, when I go in public, people go, hey, Kenny, what's up? Like, oh, I saw that video. Or I saw this. And it's funny. It's a different
conversation starter.
Exactly.
For like a referral we actually happened to meet this seller at a property for another client that was maybe going to buy the property. And he gets referred back to us and he's like, sorry, I don't mean to offend you, but I have you saved in my phone as real estate hustle hipster guy. Well,
it works though.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call me, whatever you, as long as you know me, right? Yeah. And that isn't that the game that we're in? It's sales, right? You just got to know me. And I was telling you earlier that
you're trading attention.
You're trading attention, and you don't really understand that unless you're a practitioner of what you're doing. Yep. If you're out there doing it, you're gonna slowly understand what it means to trade attention. The more you post, the more you're putting out there. You are officially maybe like a D or an E-list celebrity right now. But the more content you bring out, the more stuff you put out there, you're just rising in the ranks slowly but surely. Like, this is our time. Yeah. Like, if you ever wanted to be a movie star or anything like that, this is our time to be able to do something like that.
It's never been easier. It's like to do this, what we're doing right now. If you went 20 years ago, the cost.
Yeah.
I mean,
cameras,
how much
camera,
just
camera.
To get it like it was funny. Like Dean DeGracio's like, I copied Tony Robbins. I posted this. He's like, so how do I get what I just did on that TV? So how do I get it from here to there? It's like, he's like, I had to like,
yeah, exactly.
But now it's like that. Before he's like, so how do I get this to that? It was a nightmare. Now he's like, you just film, boom, done.
Well, and you don't need production. You don't need all of that. Like you have this setup. We even have a setup, but like people do this with their cell phone.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a girl, I listen to her podcast, Jenna Kutcher. She records in her closet with her cell phone. I mean, there's
Anchor
nothing.
FM, it's free. You can host right there.
Exactly.
She has a massive following. Yeah.
It's a huge following, way bigger than either of us. And she's never changed her setup since she started. So it's like, there's no real excuse. If you want to start, just do it. And so it's cool to hear though, that you guys literally recorded 80 episodes or several months without having anybody listening. Cause that's the problem. Most people record a few episodes and they go like, this is a lot of work and I don't think it's
Magic
working.
Number 7.
Yeah.
It's the 7th episode. You start, you do 7 episodes and that's the point where you tip off.
Right.
You're either going to continue going or you're not going to continue going.
Right.
And
I didn't want to after a week.
Yeah. That's true. But now like this is part of our day. Like it's ingrained.
It's addicting.
It's addicting, but not just that. Like, I mean, you're in sales, right? So in sales, you're supposed to get in front of people, tell them what it is you do. That's it. That's the plain and simple part of sales. If you can get in front of enough people, they will convert because you're going to get better at talking about what it is you're doing, all that stuff. There's no other medium that I've ever done that I can get in front and meet a new person every single day, right? Mm-hmm. And just by accident, other people might listen to. Like,
right.
How else?
Or you might get a new person by accident, right? Too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got a new listener.
Randomly. Yeah. And you know, and then you add the other component of taking small video clips or taking little posts and doing that. And you can pick up another person here and another person there. And like some of your audience is now going to become some of my audience. Right. Some of my audience is now going to become some of your audience. And like, it's just ridiculous. Why aren't people more doing it?
I just think, it was funny. So I'm using Gary Vee because you love Gary Vee, and that's how we got started. So I'm sitting in Gary Vee's room, and when he said, just give it all away, there's this guy sitting in the back because wherever he goes, he has like a team of 5 people. The videos and these other guys taking notes because he just sits there and rambles, says, hey, call this and do this, and this guy's back there. So Gary's like, I've been giving away for 5 years. The guy's like, excuse me, Gary's been away for 5 years. And 95% of people, if they don't listen, in 5% that listen to them have become written books and have podcasts and like the Skinny Confidential that started, all these people. So he was just making the point that it's like I was saying this the other day is I could tell here's shovels and there's gold over there. And all you got to do is walk a mile and take a shovel. 5 people will go do it out of 100, but 95 like, I'll do it later. I'm not tired. We just make excuses.
Well, it's worse. 5 people will take the shovel and go over there. One of them will continue to dig and actually make it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the biggest thing. It's consistency. Like that consistency factor. If that is a superpower, that's the only superpower I really have. Is that I decided I'm going to do something and I continue to do it over and over and over again. That's my superpower. Is that consistency. Like I get up and go to the gym at 4 a.m. because that's my time, and I hate doing it. But I get up and I do it, and I do it over and over and over and over
Another one
again.
of you guys?
You're an early one too?
Another one?
What time?
I get up at 4. I'm at the gym by 5.
Wow.
He's like 3:30,
3:45.
3:45.
Oh. All right.
That's good.
Here's the big question I always ask when somebody says like that. What time do you go to bed?
9:30, 10.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That makes sense. Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Because
He
otherwise,
doesn't need a lot of
If
sleep.
you start going a little later though, it wears on you. Like that's about the 10. When I go past 10, I feel it.
I need my 6 hours at least, right? Yeah. On a 6-hour sleep and a good workout, I'll be tired towards the end of the day. 8 o'clock at night, I'm
At night, he's tired.
Yeah.
You're just sending.
Oh yeah. And it's one of those things where I'm like on my laptop and like a sentence doesn't even come out right anymore, and you're like, that's it, I'm done. I need to close this. I need to recharge the battery. But then when you're up again and you're ready to go, right? How many times when you wake up in the morning do you feel like waking up in the morning, like going?
Most of the time.
Oh, you mean? So my thing is people are always like, because I'm known to rant and get up in the morning and, on Instagram. And so I'm probably motivation for a lot of people because I'm like, I know you're sleeping and listening to this. Just get your ass up and get going. So I always tell her, like, the biggest thing of getting up in the morning is just put your feet on the ground, stand up. It's all over.
Yes.
It's over. The mental part is over. So for me, if I wake up and I don't feel that great or get up, I just go back to bed. I don't fight it. But most of the time when I get up, I'm like ready to go.
I agree with that one.
And I don't drink coffee.
Yeah. Boom. Same Z's. Yeah. No, I don't. I don't know. Like, first of all, I don't really like the aftertaste of coffee. Yeah. Like, I'll just drink water. Like, it works. It's really? What it's there for.
We're gonna bash on coffee now.
Yeah, we're gonna bash on coffee, iPhone, water.
I like the taste of coffee. I like the aftertaste of coffee.
Sorry, my wife too. Don't worry. Yeah. I make the coffee in the morning.
It's a ritual.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Hey, dirt water's not bad. Somebody gotta drink it.
Yeah. Take your water, filter
Warm
it through dirt.
Water,
you're good.
Yeah.
Whatever, bro.
But you know what? I always talk about those first couple seconds. You know what I mean? Like that's like when you wake up in the morning, you're either gonna beat your brain or your brain's gonna beat you.
I beat my alarm usually.
Now, right? Same here. I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, I look and I'm like, oh, okay, 3 more minutes or 5 more minutes. You know it. You know it.
Like I go 3:35. 3:36. Dang.
Yeah. You can guess it. You can guess it. But again, even at that time, if I don't pop up.
The time is 18 minutes and 22 seconds. We interrupt San Diego's #1 podcast for a totally irreverent, completely, I don't have it written in front of me, but
Cash grabbing
word from our sponsor. Hernan, what are we selling today?
Usually has a nicer script for that. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, DroneCode.net is our show sponsor. Make sure you guys go to DroneCode.net/Business Bros to get your solar shopping started. That's where you go. It's easy. DroneCode.net/Business Bros. They'll send a drone over, measure your rooftops. It goes out to solar companies, roofing companies. You sit back, pick the quote that works for you, and that's the easy way to shop for solar. No more sitting through 90-minute presentations just to get an estimate that you don't like anyways. Do it the easy way. DroneCode.net/Business Bros.
Damn, that sounds pretty good, dude. That's legit.
It's easy.
Pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I never heard that before.
Never?
No.
Now you do.
Now I did.
Now you do.
If you don't know, now you know, right?
Right?
And now, back to the #1 podcast in San Diego, the Business Bros Pod.
Boom.
movie voice. I love it.
He does the movies.
Yeah.
He loves it.
I love it.
Well, I mean, and then have you guys thought about doing show sponsors for your show?
Yep.
Yeah.
We like.
I guess.
What's the
to work on
concept?
that.
What's the idea? What's the biggest hurdle? Because it took us a long time to say, all right, we're gonna do something. And my biggest thing was, I don't want to cheapen the show. I don't want to feel like the whole sellout thing. How do I pick the right sponsor?
I haven't even had this they're pushing it more than me.
Yeah, so I thought about that. Those were my thoughts at first. But secondly, I think that a lot of us, I mean, if you know podcasts and you respect the people that you're listening to, you know that it takes time and money to do this. So hopefully listeners will respect that. And I do want to get sponsors. We want to get sponsors, but part of me has held back because we want to grow our following. And then also we want people who are relevant and that obviously bring value, people that we believe in. So we do want to kind of pinpoint who we want as a sponsor and pick them rather than just taking somebody who's willing
You want to go
to.
after them and then instead of them coming after you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm kind of doing the same thing with the parodies. So we'll have guests on the show, and every once in a while, I'm like, I get to basically interview them. I get to hear what their business is about, and I'm like, I like that. I think I can sell that. Right? And then that's what it comes down to. Now I'm
That solar thing's honestly rad. I've never heard. That's like easy breezy.
It's just a different way of thinking of the process, right? Like everybody else who thinks of the solar thing is like, well, I wait for the guy to knock on my door, sit through that 90-minute presentation, and then you're like,
boring.
well, not just that. Like that's one
And you have to
company
do that so many times.
right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue. If you can get like everything done at once, like then you're comparing apples to apples. But otherwise, like
It's
it
like
takes
the
so long to
Expedia
shop
of
for that.
solar. That's what
That's
it is.
exactly
Yeah,
what
that's
it is. Makes it super
But
easy.
you get your measurements and all that, so it's like you get the quote. You're not like, hey, let's you're just boom. You put in the flight. I want to go LA to Miami. Give me the things. Go.
Boom.
This thing, you got people knocking on the door. They got to still measure and do all that. So that's nice.
And plus, this way, there's nobody stepping on your roof. No tiles breaking.
Yeah.
No
Smart.
liabilities.
You don't even have to
nothing
be
like
home,
that.
probably, huh?
You don't even have to be home because they're just
We
going to measure your
sold
rooftops.
more than we just kept going and going.
Yeah.
There you go. See?
Somebody better buy some damn solar.
Make sure Drongo.net/business bros.
Honestly, we have some friends that just got solar, but I would have told them do this. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a starting point. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like in your business, right? How do you know? Well, you brand it. You put the information out there. You get people ahead. What's your guys' plan, by the way? Speaking of ahead, what's your guys' plan for the show, for what you're doing with your business? Do you have like a 5-year point of view? Like, what's your end game type thing? I guess just getting started, you're just gonna keep going full pedal to the metal.
I think because we do we have different goals, like because we do the financing and then we obviously own properties, and one of them was what I said when we drove up here. So we're Krystle and I are big believers of like putting our money to work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, cash flow right here behind us game. So our goal is we have goals to hit like before we buy a house, we want to be at 100 units. So really what it dumbs down to is I don't want to wake up every day to work to pay for my car and my house and my life. I want a building like that to kick off enough cash flow to where it pays for everything before I start like having basically the stuff.
You mean you want actual luxuries?
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, things you don't want fancy things. You want actual luxuries. That's what I explain that to other people, like my students, for example. Like this, Gucci purse, for example. This is a fancy thing because you work every single day to get it.
Yep.
However, if you buy this asset and it spits out enough money for you to buy this nice thing, that is now a luxury. Your objective is to get luxuries.
Yeah.
Buy assets, not liabilities, right? The simple thing. I got a question for you guys, though.
Yep.
Well, Dave Ramsey style or leverage Kiyosaki style?
Leverage.
100%.
What,
100%
because
leverage.
That was fast.
That was fast.
well, here's the thing. It's smart leverage, and so leverage that is paid for by people that pay rent. So there's different, because a lot of people think leverage is I'll leverage a house, leverage a car, leverage a motorhome, leverage a second house, leverage a vacation, leverage bad debt.
Right.
That you got to work to pay for. We're talking about leverage that they pay all the bills and everything for the property, and then I get cash flow from it.
I saw a post you guys had the other day about what are you going to do during the next recession? And when people like the leverage structure, which is totally okay. I'm 100% see the value and all that. What if we hit another 2007? Mm-hmm. What happens then if you're over leveraged, or how do you know whether you're over leveraged?
So like on a normal house, like just everyday people?
You have a huge rental portfolio,
mm-hmm.
and it becomes upside down for you? What happens?
Well, good question. It depends on your rental portfolio. So, for example, if you have a multifamily property and you have a good loan on it and you understand what you're doing and the value goes down, you're still making money. You're still being paid, right? So that's what we talked about earlier. If bigger is better. If you have a 4-unit and the market goes down and 2 people vacate,
You're 50%.
and you can't make your mortgage and you're struggling, it's going to be a problem. So I think there is smart leverage and bad leverage, but I just think people that own investment properties, it depends on what you own and what you're doing. But if you bought a home and let's say your mortgage is $5,000 and you're getting $4,000 of rent, but you're banking on appreciation to sell it, like last cycle.
Ouch. Yeah.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. That's out the door. So we buy stuff where it's, things go up and down. That's fine, but we're buying it for cash flow, and we basically make appreciation by going in and adding value to the building, curb appeal, redoing units, putting half baths in, laundry, whatever it is. So we do it that way. Obviously, we've been very fortunate because if you bought in a market in 2009, you could have just closed your eyes and threw a dart at anything and you made money.
Yeah,
exactly. So you look like a genius. But you're at the top of a market and you see people like, well, I'm only negative $500, but I'm like, what happens? But you're making money now. What happens when your business goes down 50% and you're not making money, and that $500 becomes that person vacates your property and you're vacant for 2 or 3 months, and that becomes
$2,000 a month. Yeah.
We're really big believers in multifamily, so 5+ units. So it's for us, I mean, especially since I do the financing, it's like you can only get a loan that cash flows. Like you cannot get more than the property will support. So that does help you with a lender as far as getting your loan and being able to cover the overhead. So it's very difficult as an apartment owner to have properties that go underwater and that you can't make your mortgage payment. So I think if you own apartments, you're always going to win because you can weather the storm. So you can weather a storm because you're getting rents. Let's say rents drop 10%. Okay, you're getting less cash flow, but you're still getting cash flow. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think that if you are investing properly, then you're safe. The people that I worry about, and we have plenty of, friends or family or people that we know that are the same. Their goal was to get the house and then get the car and start the family and do things that kind of traditional American way. That was the American dream. Whereas we bought a house, we sold it and said, okay, we're not going to buy a house now. We're going to take this equity, that tax-free money, as nice. A married couple.
Up to $500,000.
Yes, exactly. So, and go invest that in multifamily. We haven't bought a home since. We're renters, So it's like we own apartments, but we're also renters. Why? Because that's not important to us right now. Every dollar that we make is either going back into our business or into our investments. So, and our business is an investment. So it's like, basically everything that we do is pretty much going back into some sort of investment, whether it's growing our business or growing our portfolio.
How difficult of it was it? Like when you talk to friends and family, that thought process is like, well, I want to live a life. I kind of want to, I don't do everything for money.
My wife won't let me sell the house.
Yeah. What kind of conversation was that with you guys? Was it something like you just both bought on and this is the mindset that you had off the bat, or did one have to convince the other?
So when I met Kenny, Kenny has always done residential. He's known my mom. I always joke that it was like an arranged marriage. So and it just kind of worked out. But I've done multifamily financing since I was 19. So I think Kenny, when we met, we kind of looked at this and we're like, holy shit, we should own apartments. This is what we need to be doing. So we were kind of on the same page from day one about the apartments. I was not really thrilled to sell my house. I tried to bribe him in every way possible. I was like, get a HELOC and buy a house. Well, that won't give us as much money. I promise I'll never take another vacation. I'll just stay in this house. I promise. So I tried everything, but then he was like, we got to sell the house. And I'm like, you're right. For me, my overall goal is to own apartments and to basically be able to do whatever I want without having to worry about having a job to pay the bills. So that has always been the goal in mind for us. Of course, I'm human. We have a 1-year-old. I have another one on the way. I want to own a home. I do. But right now it's about the sacrifice. So, and it's not like it's such a horrible sacrifice. We live just fine and we really love what we do. So it's more about changing your mindset. Like you said, about not buying liabilities. Like I don't need the fancy purse and I don't need all that kind of stuff. I can get that later. Guess why? Because I will get the same cash flow every month. If I own apartments and let's say I want to get $20,000 a month in cash flow, guess what? I can spend $20,000 this month because it's coming again next month.
That's right.
And that is my goal. And that's when I'll do the things.
And ow, right?
I love it.
Fire. No, but that requires delayed gratification.
Yes.
You know, that requires
no.
putting a pin in it today because
yeah.
you're waiting for tomorrow. You know, like this is one of those things where you talk to different people and they're of totally different mindsets. And you know, I've had to come to a realization that that's okay for you.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's okay for you. It's just, you know, that's why I like what Gary Vee says. Like, you know, when you're talking about 24 hours in a day, I want to know what you're doing with those extra 4 or 5 hours that you have left over.
Yeah.
Because if you're complaining about what you have, well, what about the choices that you're making to get there? Like, you can't have both.
Sorry, Disney Plus just came out. There goes my 4 hours a day.
Right.
I just did a post about that today because, you know, I'm always pushing and pushing and pushing. That's just my personality of people. And that's what I was posting this morning. I said, what separates what I've realized is I study a lot of people successful. And success doesn't mean money. It could be, it's just, well, whatever it is, right? But the people that I see that are successful today that are, you guys could say like, we're not going to do a podcast or we're not going to spend an hour of our day to do it. You could just go watch Netflix or do something else, right?
Good.
So I tell people the difference of people that are really killing it in life, whether they're fit, whether they eat healthy, whether they have a great family, they're a good husband, they're successful in the business, whatever. It's what they're doing in the spare time. It's like I get up in the morning because it's me time. It's you time.
Yes.
That's why it's addicting because who else is up that early?
Nobody.
When you start getting at 6, 7, that's when people start waking up. So the point is exactly what you just said is, there you go. Exactly what you said is the free spare time is where you can really make up for it.
And it's exactly how you describe it. It's your time. You're choosing to get up then and do it. And now I know why. You have the 1-year-old. I have the 9 and 10-year-old and the wife. So that is my time.
Yep.
When I used to try to go like around 5 or 6 in the afternoon, but then, you know, I get the wife look saying, you're going to miss dinner, you know, or the kids are like, but dad, and you feel guilty. Now first of all, I don't like running. I do it every day. I don't like it. It's even worse if now I feel guilty about doing it. So the morning one, there's no guilt. It is me. It is me choosing. That's my time to get my clarity in. That's my, you know, everything just gets going, and it's what I'm putting forward. And I'm posting every single day now when I go to the gym, and I tag a couple people. They're like my accountability gym people. They're all the early risers, and
Shout out to Ollie and Joe.
Ollie, Joe, and Kelly, right? And so I have to get to the gym and take that picture. Otherwise, I'll feel bad because I let somebody down, and that is helping me out. But on a side note, I get other people saying, hey, I want to start going to the gym now too.
Yeah.
Hey, you're motivating me to eat better. Hey, and I'm not doing it for them, or am I? Right? Like all of a sudden it's like, well, if I don't go, who am I letting down?
Yeah.
You know?
You're kind of like, that's who I am now.
That's who I am now.
Yeah.
I've created
social
this.
media can be really healthy in the right way. Like you can hold yourself accountable because they're like, where's the post? Where are you at? Are you sick? What's wrong? What's going on? What's going on? You know? When
Kenny's not feeling good or he sleeps in, like very rarely, people do DM him and they're like, hey, I didn't get my post this morning. You know?
I have to do it in advance.
Yeah.
So like this was the Veterans Day weekend. So on Friday I was like, all right guys, I'm taking a 3-day break this time. I'll see you guys on Tuesday because the same thing will happen. The same thing will happen. And I don't want to let anybody down. I want to know that this is planned, right? I'm setting this up on purpose. This is predetermined. I'm not just flaking on you guys because I don't want anybody else to. What if somebody else is in a much dire situation? Maybe they're diabetic, maybe they're obese, maybe they have something that they're following, and I don't even know because they're not the type of person to post it. But they're using what I do to help get them to the next level. Like if I think of it like that sometimes because now I know people that have come in person and like, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing. That's a whole different world. Like all of a sudden you feel that weight of responsibility. I don't know. I do anyways.
That goes beyond willpower. That becomes why power.
That becomes why power.
Yeah. I mean, Monty, if she wants to work out with me, when we do Renegade twice a week, it's 5 a.m. I just don't want to go. And she's like, but then she's getting used to it, that's just like 5 a.m. to me is like, it's already late. We got to get the show on the road. So
I better be on the treadmill by 5 a.m.
I usually start on the treadmill there.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then he pushes me to do the 5 a.m. I'm like, all
right. But you feel better when you're done.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's all worth it.
But the spare time is the game changer in the morning, at night, whatever it is. And I posted today, I said, instead of TV, read a book. instead of eat bad, eat good, instead of, go to the bar, go to a networking event, just things like this. And then you start putting yourself out there. And then what I was going to say is I think a lot of people don't do things because we want instant gratification. Mm-hmm. So they're like, well, if I do this podcast, I tried it. I didn't get 12 leads from it and close the deal. It's like, that's like delayed gratification can be everywhere in life, right? Mm-hmm. So like if you're going to train for a marathon, you're not going to just wake up tomorrow and run a marathon unless you're some lunatic.
Unless you're like David Goggins.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay hard.
Yeah.
So what I just heard was instead of a bar, go to a networking event. Can I set up a karaoke networking event? Would anybody be down for that?
For sure.
Yeah?
Yeehaw.
I don't know.
I mean,
you said Thursday nights are karaoke nights. You didn't say it had to be at a bar doing that sort of thing.
I mean, it is at number 1 in Hillcrest, but still, like, I could do karaoke another night if it's a networking thing. That's like
100%.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like you're behind a mic every day.
I mean, you could just start karaokeing like right now if you want,
Don't tempt him. Don't tempt him. Speaking of that, let's do our Ask the Bros section.
Yeah, you want to do Ask the Bros?
Yeah,
Right,
so I want you guys to think of a question, anything personal or business. You can ask James or you can ask myself. And while you guys think of a question, I'm going to remind our viewers, 365 pairs of shoes, ladies and gents. We need 3 more pairs, but we'll take anything you got. 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. Guy also does insurance. So if you need homeowners or you need life, health, whatever it is, commercial, or you want to add insurance into your business, hit James up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. And remember, dronecode.net/business bros is where you go for all your solar needs. That's where you start the shopping process. dronecode.net/business bros.
Boom.
Boom. All right, ask away.
I got a question for both of you.
Okay.
You ready?
Go for it.
Are you sure?
Well, I mean,
2020 around the corner.
Ooh.
What's the number 1 goal?
The number 1 goal.
On the top of the list, besides getting 3 more pairs of shoes before then.
Oh,
I know mine.
Go for it.
Okay.
You first.
So with the whole podcast thing, I've really enjoyed doing the parody videos. So I want to start doing more ad agency stuff. So I want to go more into the funnels and creating campaigns to help people who've been on the show generate more business. So
Nice.
My why is to help you become a better you so that you find happiness and purpose in life. And so that's one of the ways that I'm going to do it, is create an ad agency. One where I take all the risk because I'm good enough to help you grow.
Boom. Love it.
Nice. I actually was going over some old notes because I have notepad after notepad after notepad at my desk. And yeah. Well, going through those notes, I found something really interesting. It said level up by paring down. And the side note that was attached to that was we have 40 some odd agents that are part of our insurance company. Wow. And it sounds impressive, but not all of them are actively selling a ton of business. And so my number 1 goal for 2020 is to get those 45 agents active and selling. I'm just going to throw a number out there, $5,000 a month. If I can get $5,000 a month from every single one, that'd be awesome. I mean, 10,000 would be even better. But if I can just get 5,000 out of every single one, I'd be pretty happy. In premium, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and we talk about that all the time.
And it's basically just a matter of reaching out and saying, hey, what do you need?
Yeah.
How can I help you? And what it comes down to for me, more than anything else, is caring. It's stop caring so much about all the systems and processes and everything that needs to go into the business, because that's what I spend a lot of my time on, and start caring about the people that are in it and what they care about what they care about to help them become successful.
You know what we call it? Relationships over transactions.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
Once you start caring about the customer and what their needs are, like you said, and worrying about what the commission you're going to make, you'll make a lot more commission.
100%. And but also for us, it's trying to get them to understand that. Like we were talking about, do we offer an incentive bonus? Do we do this? And it's always monetary. And one of the things that we came up with. What happened?
Oh no, I was just checking out my hair.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about that.
One of the things
My hair was a mess.
Yeah, one of the things I came up with was like, well, maybe the issue is not that they can't reach, that we're not incentivizing the goal that they reach. It's maybe we're not putting them in a position where they can sell. Like maybe, if we have an agent that wants to work with dentists, why don't we put a networking event together with dentists and then stick that agent in that event? Let them work their magic. Maybe they just don't know how to do that. They don't know how to get in front of people. Once they're there, they're phenomenal. But getting them in front of the people is a tough part. So, like thinking of other ways other than just saying, hit this number and you get this money.
Yeah, because they're not hitting a number because probably, like you said, they're so worried about the process or they're not sure how to get started. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, like what Krystle and I is we just kind of said, we do all this stuff, but we can talk about we do all this stuff, but we need to narrow it down to what we go out to our general public and our community and say, we do loans first. And then we have a podcast, real estate investing, but we're not going to be like, hey, we do loans and a podcast. And like, what? So
you lost me, right?
So I think even for real estate, sometimes they have all these products to sell. We can do houses. I think it's like, this is overwhelming. Maybe they're like, let me just pick a lane. Let me say, I want to go and do residential real estate. So who has a lot of residential real estate? Well, there's property management companies. They manage a lot. Why don't I start building relationships with them? Mm-hmm. I think picking a lane and what's worked really well for us when you're spread out, and I think with real insurance, there's a lot of products.
There is.
That's just me thinking out loud.
And also the intimidation factor of selling. Like, I mean, for most people, I know for me, I'm not the type of person who wants to pick up a phone and start cold calling. Like, that's just not who I am. I mean, if somebody says they don't want to talk to me, I'm like, okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah.
So
that was an easy out.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like trying to figure out how to make somebody feel like it's not a sale. Like, you can just have a conversation and be a human being with people, and that will generate business. It might not happen right away, so you might give up. Don't give up. That's the biggest thing. But just be you. And if that's not who you are, if you're not the hard, like, for example, we know somebody who is a hard salesman. Like, they pick up the phone and they call clients like clockwork every day. They follow up with them. They call them on their birthdays, say happy birthday, and like, they're real salesy. But that's their personality. If I try to do that, that just is all wrong.
What's wrong with you?
Right?
Are you feeling okay?
No.
You must be pregnant.
Like, Krystle, yeah, exactly. They're like, why are you being so weird, Krystle? So it just isn't. That's not who I am. So you have to figure out who you are, and I think that makes the selling a lot less intimidating.
And consistency is key. Whatever you do,
just
whatever it is you do.
Like, you guys are doing this every single day, releasing. Over time, your brand just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then so many people fall off. I think if you're going to pick a lane, consistency is it, and that's the name of the game.
Like, people say, what was your first podcast like? I know ours was like,
yeah, listen to it.
Yeah,
listen to it. It's horrible. Yeah. But you got to start somewhere,
right?
Yes,
you got to start somewhere. You will get better with time, guys. Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thanks for having us. That was awesome.
I mean, it's not like you didn't know where it was. Now you know exactly where we are.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's funny when I put Waze in the address, I was like, oh, this is like, we're literally turning on Manchester. Like, cool.
You know exactly where it's at, and it's got a great view. Your apartments have great views. Like some of the upper ones.
The view here is amazing.
Yeah.
When I turned on the street, I was like, whoa, you guys get ocean views here. It's insane.
It's amazing, yeah. And I wish it just wasn't so like cloudy outside right now.
Because
otherwise you see.
It's been amazing lately.
Yeah, you see from like IB all the way to downtown. It's
wild.
Great.
Yeah.
It's great. Well,
Thanks
I look forward to being on your guys' show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Continuing this conversation.
Soon, right?
Speaking of,
couple weeks.
Speaking of, I want you guys to take a look at your cameras over here, one or both, or whoever wants to talk, and let people know how.
I'm going to have you both on camera at the same time. So,
boom. So go ahead, tell people how to get a hold of you if they want to work with you, and how to hear your podcast.
All right. If you want to get a hold of me, you can go to my website, pacificshorecapital.com. I'm also on Instagram, Krystle Rose Moore, and all my contact info is on the website as far as like cell phone, email, all that good stuff.
You can also point down.
Oh, right here.
Boom.
If you want to get a hold of me, Kenny Simpson, 619-302-2020, or Kenny B. Simpson at what, Monty? Instagram or something?
Instagram.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best way.
Yeah, that way you guys
text me, DM me.
Some energy in the morning, right?
Yep, you can, if you want motivation in the morning, follow both of us.
I honestly might follow you for that.
Yeah, just to wake them up. Go, move.
I'm very active on social media in the morning, and then it's like the morning. It's like you get a lot.
The peak energy.
There you go. It's actually peaked all day, but yet to what you're getting Instagram. I'm too busy doing during the day.
I'm a 4:30 guy, so I'm just a little bit behind you.
Nice. I love it. Wow, you guys are early.
Kenny was like 5, and then it was like 4:30, then it was 4, and now it's like 3:40. His friends are like, I give up. I can't work out with you anymore.
You're like, you want to work at 7? I'm like, 7?
I'm already home, showered, ate breakfast. What are you talking about? 7?
7?
I'm in the classroom by that time. What are you? Jeez.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. It's fun.
Of course. Ladies and gents, again, check out their podcast at Value K&K, right?
Value Add KK.
Value Add KK.
Yeah.
So check it out. They got some great stuff. Very informative. There's a big difference between residential real estate and commercial real estate. You guys are going to learn a lot there. All right. That's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Peace out.
Spread positivity.
And we're out.
Bye-bye.
I like the headphones.
That was fun.
But take it off. Now it's a totally different world.